So you were just saying that you cut my dad's hair this week.
Yeah.
What day did you cut it?
On Thursday.
And what style did you give him this
just
time?
an ordinary style like I always cut it.
Can you just
know.
take me through the process of how you get him to sit down first?
Get a chair and he sits down. I get a high chair and sit behind him and put a towel round his neck, for the hair. And then he gets some paper to put his hair on.
What kind of paper?
And tissue papers, And then he goes upstairs and does his own neck, shaves his own neck. And then...
so how did you decide? How did you decide where to start on the haircut?
I don't ask you.
How do you decide where to start?
I start at the back. And then I start from the back and get to the front and do his sidewards, And then I start... The last thing I do the top. There's no more to cut off because he's getting a bit bald. So I got the top off a little bit, not much. And then he goes upstairs and does his neck. Then at night time I do his feet.
Hang on, before we get onto the feet, the hair. Does he comment on the style?
He never comments on it, but he looks in the mirror and he said it looks all right. That's what he says. He's not a fussy really. I think I cut him bald, he wouldn't know.
What qualifications have you got for hairdressing?
I've not any qualifications, but it seems to run in my family, because Annie's daughter, Betty, she was a hairdresser. Wies was a hairdresser. And it seems to run in our family to cut hair.
Yeah, but if you've had no training...
I've had no training, but I just cut away. But before I even came to this house, I lived on Shadowmoors and I used to cut people's hair.
Yeah, but how did you know you could cut hair?
I didn't. Well, this just seemed to come to me.
So, but how do you get into a position where somebody that you know says, "Hey, Maria, cut my hair"?
It wasn't. There was an old chap, a little fella. It was. He used to come to the shops. He says, "Maria, I want to ask you something." He says, "My wife is not well, He says, "But she can't get to a hairdresser. Would you like to cut it for her?" So I said, "Yeah." And from there on, I used to cut people's and perm people's hairs.
Perm?
Perm, Dad.
Have you heard this? Hey, your hair's looking good, Dad.
Well, nothing wrong with it. Just losing it.
I think you need to wash that top.
Paul, the top, it's coming off in a bit.
Full of food.
No, it has to come off.
Your top?
No, it's
got to come off in a bit. Listen, Paul, to me a minute.
Pardon?
Never mind the paper now. So have you done the
plants?
Plants.
Read that one.
Have you done them plants?
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Have you watered the
plants?
plants?
In the kitchen, I've done all the plants.
Right.
The only ones I haven't done is the 2 on the top in the kitchen and 2 on the top in the dining room.
Oh, well, I'll do them now.
Right? Just the tops, Paul.
Can we get back onto the perms now?
Yeah, I used to do the perms for people.
What's
Mrs.
a perm?
London,
Just remind me what a perm is.
Eh?
Can you remind me what a perm is?
A perm, it was used to put, you'd wash the hair and then you'd put curlers, them very fine curlers in the hair, and you had stuffed perm material, and you put it on the curlers, and leave it for a while, and then after about half an hour you can take them out, and then your hair's all curly.
And how long does it take?
It takes quite a bit to do it,
And how long would such a haircut last?
Perm would stay for about 6 months.
But what does it stand for, perm?
Perm is perm in your hair.
Yeah, but what does it stand for, perm?
Perm, that means that you're going to curl your hair.
Oh, not permanent then?
No.
Amazing.
I used to do that.
And you've never had any hairdressing?
I never had any. I used to do this in this row. That lady used to come in the shop, and that man with his wife, I used to do her hair. And Mrs. London lived next door to me. She found out I was doing it, so she asked me to do her. She used to come here for me to do perm her hair.
Well, you're obviously a very talented woman, and my dad doesn't have any choice, and John doesn't have his hair cut by you anymore.
I've told him since yesterday to take that top off.
He's full of food.
I know. I told him to take it off, but he'll take it off in a bit because I'll make sure of it.
Good. Right then.
Anyway, as I was saying, you know, I've done a lot in my life. I've done a lot.
We know.
Don't worry.
Have you done any other DIY?
I remember you saying to me, and I remember it till my dying days. I used to say to me, Mum, you're wasting your time. You could do things better than that. You used to say to me.
What do you mean?
I'm wasting my time on things what I was doing, the works I was doing.
Yeah.
You used to say to me that I could do better.
Yeah, you could. Well, listen to you, you're a hairdresser.
Yeah.
I remember when you used to go and do all the wallpapering at John's house in Olney Avenue. Do you remember?
Yeah.
John used to get you round to do these wallpapering.
I used to wallpaper as well.
I know, that's what I've just said.
The old chap, you know, he asked me to come.
No, John, your son.
Yeah.
You used to do John's house.
Yeah. I used to do all the front in Susan's dad's house. I used to paper it for him.
And this is a woman that can't drive a car, everybody.
I know. You know, the thing is, Robert, to be quite truthful, I have to say this. The Dutch girls get learned a lot.
Taught.
Home.
You learn.
Home-wise.
Yeah.
You know.
So you were taught when you were a baby how to wallpaper?
No, not as a baby, but you get learned a lot.
Taught. Mum,
home-wise, you know, make sure everybody's clean and things like that. Look after your children. Always make sure you've got good food in the stomachs, which I always have done. You should know that.
Mm-hmm.
But you was always a funny one.
Thank you. In what way was I funny?
If I'd had a spoon in the custard, I don't want a spoon. I said, it's only been in the custard. Would you want it? No.
It's changed now. I'm desperate for the spoon that comes out of the custard.
And another thing, you used to, if I make a pan of stew, I don't want that. But you're glad of it now.
Yeah, I mean, my obviously when you were trying to force feed me vegetables and sneaking onions into onion gravy into potato, I was thinking I wouldn't notice. That put me off vegetables, and now I eat everything. It's weird, isn't it?
I know, that's funny, that, isn't it?
It is funny.
You see, as you get older, you change more, don't you?
I don't know, do I?
I mean, I can eat everything. I mean, I'll tell you something, I know what it is not to have anything.
We know.
You know what I mean? And I used to eat, if I found orange peels on the floor, I'd eat them.
Nice.
In the wartime. I mean, I know, but my poor mother, and I think about it many times, because when you're young, you don't realise your mother is missing out. Mm. But when I was young, my mother used to give everything to us, you know, because there was nothing. And she used to do without, you know. But you don't realise it till later on, till you get older.
Amazing. Anyway.
And we've stood we lived opposite that, and great big building it is, but the man he did cigars, you know. He had cigars shops everywhere. And it was a terrible day that day. I was bombing. And we run out and we run into his garden, thinking it was safe because of a big building, you know. And my father had a knife to him. He was going to get fed up with it. Because all the women had followed him.
Followed who?
Followed my dad into that garden.
Yeah.
With all the children, because the men were all in Germany.
Right.
You know, I always remember that. My sister Ali, her husband was in Germany, and she had a bag with a photograph inside the bag. Oh, it was a terrible time. She laid hours and think about it sometimes, you know, what I do. Terrible times. That's what I think sometimes, you know, to myself, like, in bed more or less than anything. I think, it's amazing, all the things I've been through, you know, but very bad things in the wartime, that I've reached this age.
Yeah, I put it down to all the haircuts that you've done. It's probably giving you, it's all the hair cutting that you've done, it's probably given you that.
But I often think that, you know, think all the things now I only thought about it the other day. This, you know what this is from?
Yeah.
Now I've got an
talking about the bump on the head, aren't you?
In my eye, I've got a rip in my eye. You know, Now, they always ask me, how do I come to get this? Well, I don't know. I do not know. But I'm wondering whether it has been from this.
Maybe.
You know, when the rifle fell on me,
Yeah, it
fell
caught your
on
eye.
me and probably cut my eye open a bit. You know.
Yeah.
And it was a big, long rifle. I just looked, because I wondered what he was doing in front of me, you know. And I looked up, blah, blah. Down he comes. Poof.
Poof.
Right, and it's never come.
Ouch.
1943, that. I have a call me German.
Well, I bumped my head yesterday in my friend's Volvo. It's gone now. I bumped my head on his thing, on his car.